Happy payday, everyone. As we begin our look at life economics, today you get your first paycheck. Hooray! Well, common sense would tell you that if you're going to figure out what you get each month, you'll just take your salary, divide it by 12 months, and that will be what you get. So if you made $24,000, there's 12 months in a year, you get $2,000 a month. And you think you could start planning your budget. But wait, there's more. The government gets its slice of your paycheck no matter what you do. So when you get that first paycheck, there's certain things you're going to see. First off, you'll see a gross pay and a net pay. The gross pay, which is right here encircled in red, is what you would get as your normal monthly salary. That would be if they didn't take anything out at all. The net pay is what you actually get in cash or in check or direct deposit these days, and that is the actual one you get to use, and that's after they take all these things out. Well, we're going to focus on just a few of those things today that we're going to actually take out of your first paycheck. The first one we'll talk about is your federal tax. That's the money that goes directly to Uncle Sam. That's the one you hear a lot about Congress fighting over what to do with the dollars. Well, this chart here will show you back in 2015, last year, what we spent money on. And you hear a lot of discussion on, oh, cut the social spending or cut the military spending. You can see that your Social Security, your unemployment, and labor costs took up 33% of the budget. Medicare and health, 27%. So really, those are both kind of social things, and that's almost 60%, or is 60%. The military, 16%. And again, you can come back and look at this chart and see all the places we spend our money as we go. Next up was something called the Federal Insurance Contribution Act, or FICA, which you can see. And that pretty much is where you get your Social Security from. Way back when in the 30s, and I know you had this in 6th grade with Mr. Sulik, we had the Great Depression, and we were worried about what we were going to do with our elderly citizens, or those that couldn't work anymore. And so they created something called Social Security to help people get through. Now, Social Security itself covers three main things. Old age benefits, so when you get old, don't say like you, Mr. Wick, but when you get old, you have money set aside when you can't work anymore. Now, the kicker is the life expectancy back then was 61 years old. Now it's almost 79 years old. So we're living about 18 years longer. So the people getting benefits are collecting, at least 18 years longer. And this really was just to cover the living expenses of the elderly. So they'd have home and shelter, shelter and food. There's also something called survivor benefits. So that if you were married and your spouse got the lion's share or most of your income and the main worker passed away, some money would kick in to help offset the cost. And last but not least, disability. Help cover the loss of work money due to disability. Again, if you as a child, one of your parents were to get gravely ill, you would get Social Security money to help cover the loss of the income from your parents. And again, that goes to spouses and family members to cover, as it says, disability. And you can see by the chart who gets the money from Social Security right now. 63% is just retired workers. And again, that's where they look at the 18 years of difference in life expectancy. Another area that might come out of your paycheck, or does come out, is called Medicare. In 1966, they say, we got a problem. We are getting older, and we have to provide insurance to those over 65. Or if you're younger and have a severe disability and can't work, they want to make sure you're covered. It's kind of like, but only kind of like, the Affordable Health Care Act that you call Obamacare, but only just for the senior citizens, 65 and older. Currently, 40 million people are getting this benefit. 48 million are getting the benefit. 40 million are over 65. There's been talk of moving that back a little bit as our generation ages, to maybe have people work a little longer. But again, right now, coming out of your paycheck is your Medicare. Well, and then the state gets its cut. The state of Wisconsin, you'll see, and you'll see the demographics, you'll see how much taxes we do take out. They do get their share. It goes to Madison, and there's not much you can do about it. You file your forms at the end of the year, hope to get something back. Another area you might choose to take out is retirement. You may have heard the term 401k. That's one kind of plan. There's all sorts of different plans out there that you can choose to take money out of your paycheck. Maybe you choose to take $50, $75, $100 out of your paycheck just to put away in a special account so that when you retire, that money is all there for you. I really don't recommend you hide it in a jar. Here, recall we started economics, we talked about liquid assets and all. Yeah, your money would be liquid, but two, it wouldn't be very safe. Well, that said, as you get your first paycheck today, we'll be exploring some websites. Before we get to exploring those websites, I want to remind you, please, if you have not done so yet, turn in your Life Economics Reflections Day 1 work to me so I can get that graded today while you work. And two, there is in your Google Classroom your Life Economics Reflection 2. And there's where you put your annual salary in. And once you put your salary in, we're going to figure out how much goes to taxes and retirement. Well, I'm going to open up a link right here, and we'll show you how to do the taxes and retirement. As it loads. Well, today is the 27th. You will put in Wisconsin because that's where we live. Your gross pay. Let's go back to the example where I said you get $24,000 a year, so you get $2,000. Gross pay method. You don't get paid yearly. You get paid every pay period, which is every couple of weeks, we'll say. The gross pay period, we don't really need that because it can figure it out from there, 2,000 times 12. Are you exempt right now? We're going to say no, you're not exempt from any of those things. You have to pay them all. You are, for all purposes right now, unless you draw a wild card that tells you you're married, single. You don't have any federal allowances or federal withholding. So we just bring it all the way down here. Now, you have these other options that you can put in. If you would like to put some money away for your retirement, you can click on 401k, and we can name this, or we'll just call it retirement. And I'm going to put, I'll put $50 away right now. That's not very much. You may want to go higher even than that as you roll. And we will just say percent of gross pay, $1 fixed amount is what I want. All right. And it asks you if you want to print a report. Please don't print a report because it'll be about 6, 7, 8 pages long. So say no, and it will give you your total. If it calculates, it gives me my monthly check up there. It would tell me that, although it wants me to look at more tools, my gross pay was $2,000. My actual net pay after taking everything out, oh my Lord, it's down to $1,386.39. So when I go back to my day 2 reflection, I would put 2,000 minus 1,386 and figure it out. And there's where I put my total of my take-home pay. Once I've done that, I want you to read an article there. Now that we have our money that we're going to use, we're going to talk about buying a house or renting a house. I want you to read this article on the advantages and disadvantages of renting or owning, excuse me. And as you read the article, you'll be able to fill this chart in and tell me some of the advantages and disadvantages. And here's where I get a little silly, I guess, because I like this stuff, so I'm going to force it on you. Looking at demographics. I've used that word in class a couple of times. Under demographics, you'll see some things about East Troy. You can see we get a livability score of 77, amenities, a B. You have to click on it to find out what they are. The cost of living is a B. The crime is a B+. Education, hey, look at that. We've got an A. Employment a B, a housing a B, and the weather, well, we live in Wisconsin, so they don't like us because we get cold. We get a D. There are questions on life expectancy, or not life expectancy, on your reflection sheet too, about 15 questions that'll walk you through that. And then your last reflection questions, do you see yourself living in East Troy when you're 26 years old? It's kind of a yes or no question. I would say Why or why not? And if not, where would you like to go? And last but not least, based on what we've done today, do you think you will choose to own a home or rent a home and why? We're looking at having that done by Friday. I'll probably give you some time to work on this in class on Thursday as well. We'll have some conversations as we go as well. So I'll be putting this in Google Classroom. That would be today's lesson. If you have any questions, pop back to this on a regular basis, and we'll go from there. Thanks much. Have a great day, all.